Hello and welcome. This is Ogtv Main News. My name is Bukola Agbakisu. First, the major highlights of the news. President Buhari appoints new service chiefs. IG wants doctors to save lives first before police report. Nigeria attracts $2.6 billion foreign direct investment in year 2020. Farmers' protest against agricultural reforms in India turns violent. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding.
And on Sport News tonight, uncertainty persists over rescheduled Tokyo 2020. This and more sporting stories much later on the news. My name is Moses Jewumi. Stay with us.
We are starting with the appointment of new service chiefs. President Muhammadu Buhari has accepted the immediate resignation of the service chiefs and their retirement from service. Those involved are the Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Olunishakin, Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ikwe Ibaz, and Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar. A statement by the presidential spokesperson, Femi Adesina, has said that President Buhari has approved the appointment of new service chiefs. They are Major General Leo Irabo, Chief of Defense Staff, Major General I. Atahiru, Chief of Army Staff, Rear Admiral Eze Gambo, Chief of Naval Staff, and Air Vice Marshal Isiaka Oladayo Amou, Chief of Air Staff. The President congratulated the new service chiefs and urged them to be loyal and dedicated in the discharge of their responsibilities. In recognition and appreciation of the support of community development associations in complementing government efforts, the Ogun State government has disbursed the sum of 85.5 million naira grants in aid to community development associations to support their self-help projects in the state. This was revealed by the state governor, Prince Dakpo Abiodun, who was represented by his Chief of Staff, Alhaji Shuaib Salisu. Our reporter, Adebola Oshomoji, covered the event held at the Cooperative College, Ijeja, Abeokuta. A report.
These community development association leaders have embarked on various self-help projects which have made life more meaningful for the people. It is in recognition and appreciation of the complementary role of these associations that made the state government to graciously release the sum of 85.5 million naira as grants in aid to encourage self-help projects in the state. According to the Commissioner for Community Development and Cooperatives, Honorable Ganiu Hamzat, the disbursement of grant is for 400 community development areas and subvention for 300 area community development committees, 20 zonal community development committees, and the apex body of State Community Development Council.
Let me also use this opportunity to thank the Executive Governor of our dear state, Prince Dr. Adedapo Abiodun, MFR, for his immeasurable and unprecedented support to our communities in the state. The release of 85.5 million naira by our indefatigable governor to settle year 2020 grants in aid stroke subvention is a clear indication that His Excellency is a community-friendly governor.
Speaking on behalf of Ogun State Governor Prince Dakpo Abiodun, the Chief of Staff Alhaji Shuaib Salisu implored the community leaders to embrace oneness and key into the policies of the state government for the development of various communities and the society at large.
When they are united across the state, they have a very organized structure. At the lowest level, they have community development associations. And understand there's about 9,000 CDAs in Ogun State. When you group these CDAs together, then they become area CDCs. When you further group the area CDC, they become the zonal CDC at the local government level. And when you group the zonal CDCs at local government level, they become senatorial CDC. And therefore, at the apex level, they must also find a way of addressing whatever challenges that they have so that they come together as a one strong, united apex body that can provide leadership and motivate the structure below them, and also interface more effectively with the government in the agenda of building our state, our future.
At the event, the community leaders appreciated the state government for the gesture and pledged their full support in the development of the state. Adebola Oshomoji, Ogtv News.
Ogun State government has distributed food palliatives to pensioners across the 20 local government areas of the state as part of measures to further cushion the effects of COVID-19 pandemic in the state. The Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Mr. Femi Ogumbanwo, disclosed this while speaking in his office at Okemoson, Abeokuta, saying the distribution will further ease the plight of the pensioners and improve the standard of living that had been negatively affected by the pandemic.
I'm here on the instruction of the SLSC to extend to give palliative to the pensioners. Since the commencement of the second wave of COVID-19, we have been trying to assist those who believe that will be affected by this pandemic, especially those who are more vulnerable, like the artisans, the alternate medicine practitioners. We have given to the local government workers. So today is the turn of the pensioners.
In the separate messages, the state chairman, Local Government Pensioners Association of Nigeria, Chief Sikiru Ayelara, state chairperson, Retired Primary School Teachers Association of Nigeria, Mrs. Caroline Oguntola, and Comrade Bayonli Ismail, State Secretary, Committee on Nigeria Union of Pensioners, appreciated and commended the government for this kind gesture at ensuring the welfare and well-being of the people of the state, promising that more of this kind gesture would at all times be extended to the elders. Ogun State Ministry of Environment has commenced the clearing of water channels in Ota Axis to allow for free flow of water. The permanent secretary in the ministry, Engineer Razak Ojetola, while speaking with Ogtv News, said the exercise is ongoing in all the 3 senatorial districts of the state in preparation for the rainy season. Ido Fabajo reports.
This is Ojore in Ota, in Adodo-Ota local government area of Ogun State, where the residents complained of flood during the rainy season. The flood cannot be unconnected with the full of waste inside the drainages. The Ministry of Environment, in its proactiveness, has begun the clearing of drainages in the area to allow for free flow of water.
Even tẹ́ ẹ bá kọjá bí àsìkò òjò gan ẹ lè mọ̀ pé gọ́tà wà bí gbogbo ẹ̀ ló blọọkù pátápátá, but inú wa dùn bó ṣe jẹ́ pé àrírànlọ́wọ́ pé wọ́n tẹ̀ wá ṣe bá wa ṣe wọ́n bá gbé gọ́tà yẹn lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ tá a wà yìí. Gbogbo omi tó rogún sí àárín títì tó lè ba títì jẹ́ á lè máa bá gọ́tà yẹn lọ.
It's terrible during time of rain season. If rain fall, we cannot. Nobody can stop here. We can't stand here. The place is just full with water, just like a river from here till to run about. Where the work we are doing here now is very nice. It's very good.
We have done Agowoli, Shagamu, Odelemo, Ijebu-Igbo, Obagbadibo Road, at Obasadori Topia, Ilaro, and a lot of work has been done. The clearing of waterways is in Abeokuta and the Ogun Central here. So presently now we are as a Sangwater. We are doing as a continuous work. We are preparing for the oncoming rainy season.
The permanent secretary in the ministry, Engineer Razak Ojetola, called on individuals to dispose their waste appropriately in order to achieve a clean environment.
To ensure that they maintain cleanliness and not put their waste in the drainage system. They should try as much as possible to drop their this in their waste in the designated location where the Ogoma people provided for them.
He urged residents to follow the COVID-19 protocols to beat the second wave of the pandemic. Ido Fabaju, Ogtv News.
On road construction, Ogun State House of Assembly Committee on Works and Infrastructure has commenced an assessment tour on road construction across the 3 senatorial districts of the state, expressing satisfaction on the level of construction carried out so far in the various sites. Honorable Fasua, who led other members, made the remarks in an interview shortly after conducting an on-the-spot assessment to Ogun East Senatorial District. Correspondent Kolawo Ilosho's report is presented in this package.
Embarking on an on-the-spot assessment tour to the senatorial districts in Ogun State, House Committee on Works and Infrastructure, chaired by Honorable Abayomi Fasua, to ascertain the level of completion of ongoing road projects in the state. The lawmakers who lauded the strides of the present administration, led by Prince Dapo Abiodun, as a result of its renewed commitment to infrastructure development, especially roads construction to aid smooth human and vehicular movement, disclosed that the quality of job done by the contractors was an affirmation of their competence and capability to deliver quality roads.
Yeah, we've been able to move around, at least we've been able to move around like 10 road projects across the Central East, and possibly tomorrow we'll just touch one. So we've seen that this administration is working, and we've seen that most of the contractors we visited their site, they have the wherewithal to execute a very good job on all the projects that we visited. So we want to thank His Excellency Dr. Dapo Abiodun for the developmental stride that he's doing.
Other roads visited in Ogun East Senatorial District are Ijebu-Ode Epe Road, Ejiri, Imowo, Eleron Road, reconstruction of Igon, Imere Junction, Inagowe, and Ilisha Market Road in Ikene, amongst others. The committee had earlier inspected some roads in Ogun Central Senatorial District, including Elite, Okelanturu Road, Masheke, Adigbe. The committee expressed optimism that the project would be delivered within stipulated time by the contractors.
Still ahead in the news, NEMA responded to 53 road emergencies in December 2020. Details after the break.
To watch us live on your mobile phone, go to Google Play Store for Android, App Store for iOS, Microsoft Store for Windows. Download Ogtv mobile app, click Open, and click Watch Live TV. Ogtv, the people's tele.
Thanks for joining us in part 2 of the news. A 2-day retreat has been held for the board and management team of Ogun State Housing Corporation to sharpen their skills and prepare them ahead of the actualization of the vision of the government in housing delivery for 2021. The retreat by Odua Learning and Development Center was declared open by the Ogun State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, represented by the Commissioner for Housing, Jagumolu Jamiu Omoniyi, who encouraged the participants to use the retreat to engender ideas and strategies that will help in delivering on the huge task ahead in the new year. Matthew Sheume has the details.
Over the years, Ogun State Housing Corporation has been meeting the housing needs of both the low and middle income earners through the implementation of different housing projects and helping to achieve the mission of the government. The purpose of this 2-day board induction and retreat by Odua Learning and Development Center for the management team and board of the corporation is to further enhance the capacity of the participants to achieve the vision of the government and sharpen their skills.
That after the 2-day orientation and strategic session, we should have a very robust affordable housing delivery policy and a more dedicated workforce and a more rejuvenated team to take the government housing delivery to the best position that it ought to be.
Chairman of Ogun State Housing Corporation Board, Chief Yemi Shanusi, said the retreat will go a long way in preparing the participants for the task ahead in offering the needed support for the vision of the government.
I want everybody to review again where it's lacking and where you can adjust and make sure they cooperate and achieve the goal of the housing corporation.
General Manager of Ogun State Housing Corporation, Estate Surveyor and Valuer Wale Ojo, said the retreat is coming at a good time as the corporation puts strategies in place to achieve the vision of the government. The General Manager urged participants to make good use of the opportunity to equip themselves with the necessary skills to perform better.
Most of the time people know where they are going. They know where they are coming from. But the vehicle to take them to where they are going is majorly the issue. So these 2 days, of course, is a strategic sessions that we have seen. And of course, it's going to, reveal to the board and the management as a whole to run the organization in a strategic manner so that end of day, the set goals and objectives of the organization will be realized.
The retreat then went into a technical session with different lectures while the participants expressed belief in the goals of the retreat.
All what we have been learning since morning shows how we are going to have a cordial relationship with the management and the entire staff of the Housing Corporation.
The retreat is to continue with more paper presentations and lectures on the second day. Matthew Showme, Ogtv News.
The Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, as well as the Federal Inland Revenue Service, have been directed to commence immediate remittance of funds approved by law to the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASINI. President Muhammadu Buhari, who gave the directive, insists that NASINI must be provided with adequate financial, human and material resources towards executing its mandate and realizing its full potentials. The President said this at the meeting of the agency's governing board with its chairman. NASINI was established in 1992 to facilitate, among others, local mass production of standard parts, goods and services required for the nation's technological advancement. Presiding over the meeting of the governing board for the first time since reconstitution in 2018, President Muhammadu Buhari described NASINI as not only critical to Nigeria's industrial development and creation of 10 million jobs, but also the realization of the economic recovery and growth plan, as well as the post-COVID-19 sustainability plan.
It is only deliberate deployment of engineering, science, technology and innovation, using technology domestication and reverse engineering of capital goods, making them available in Nigeria, that can fast-track realization of our collective will to build capacity and reduce poverty among our teeming populace. It is my desire that the Governing Council will reposition NASINI for the realization of its mandate as envisioned by its founders.
The COVID-19 pandemic in particular, the President said, exposed the technology and innovation drive between Nigeria and the developed world, which NASINI is strategically positioned and poised to fill.
NASINI must be empowered and be given the autonomy and independence to forge international partnerships to acquire the relevant technologies for socio-economic and industrial advancement of the country. I hereby direct Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning to conclude negotiation and acceptance of 85% funding source for establishment of solar cells production, high voltage testing laboratory and transformer in collaboration with China Great Wall Industry Corporation.
No government has ever attempted to provide this fund over the years.
The executive vice chairman of Nasini, who described the presidential directive as significant in fast-tracking Nigeria's industrial development, also appreciated the president for his commitment to the production of solar cells in Nigeria.
Cells. Nasini has 7.5 megawatt capacity solar panel or solar module manufacturing plant in Karshi. The board has approved that we should use locally available raw material, and this raw material is silica, and silica is from sand, and sand is free of charge. If you can produce cells, then you have capacity to venture into electronic communication technology and computation equipment.
The governing board meeting, which continued behind closed doors, considered and approved various memoranda, including the collaboration between Nasini and Belgium Manufacturing Company for helicopter production in Nigeria.
In order to quickly have made in Nigeria helicopter. Technically, we'll be ready in 2 months, but the issue is that even when we design, produce and fabricated jet engine, as I said, we will not deploy it until it meets all other international regulatory requirements. We are doing all we can, taking into consideration the checklist provided.
Also approved by the board includes National Tractor Refurbishing and Recovery Program, as well as the reconstitution of some critical standing committees. The federal government on Tuesday said it would soon commence the housing project for the internally displaced persons, IDPs, across the country. Senator Bashir Mohammed, the federal commissioner in the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons under the presidency, stated this while distributing relief materials to thousands of IDPs in Jalingo, Taraba State. Mohammed, who was represented by Alhaji Sudangi Jubrin, the admin officer of the commission, told the IDPs at the event that President Muhammadu Buhari was concerned about their welfare and has directed the commission to provide them with the materials and to also commence housing projects to accommodate them across the country. Mr. Paniga Binga, the Taraba State Commissioner for Special Duties and Humanitarian Affairs, commended the commission for the gesture. Binga, however, appealed to the federal government to expedite action on the return of displaced persons to their homes instead of continuous donation of materials. According to him, Taraba has a total number of 31,460 IDPs and over 15,000 refugees, saying what was needed was adequate security and logistics to ensure their return home. Following a request by candidates to be given more time to complete the registration process for the 2020 SSCE External, the National Examinations Council has fixed new dates for the examination. In a statement by the head, Information and Public Relations Division, Aziz Sani, the council noted that the examination, which was earlier scheduled to commence on Monday, February 1st, 2021, and end on Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021, will now start on Monday, February 8th, 2021, and end on Wednesday, March 10, 2021. The council also informed the set of candidates who missed some papers during the 2020 SSC internal due to the NSAS protest in some states to take note of these new dates at their various examination centers to be designated. All candidates are advised to access the revised examination timetable on the council's website. Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa with one of the largest population of youth in the world. Therefore, there is need for leaders to do all that is necessary by building youth capacity and create enabling environment for youth participation in politics in order for them to contribute their quota to the socio-economic development of the country. This was a submission of some Nigerians who spoke with our reporter Yusuf Ganiu on youth involvement in Nigerian politics. His report.
The youth constitute critical element in societal development, and whatever the human and material resources endowments of any geopolitical entity, No serious government should neglect or overlook the youth, who indeed are the foundation for the future. For a long period in Nigeria, the youth suffered neglect, marginalization, discrimination, and even prosecution. According to some Nigerians, despite the economic and political challenges, Nigerian youths need to stand their ground and look inward for better opportunity to improve the nation's economy.
The youths, must embark on serious advocacy that we have the potentials. We only need to be given the opportunity to serve. And then they have to not just fold in their hands, they have to go out and begin to enlighten people, particularly the populace, the electorate, that we are capable of doing it. We have the wherewithal to do it, and we are prepared to do it, and we are ready to do it better.
Respondents also emphasized that youth should see every obstacle as an opportunity to survive.
When you have young ones, when you inject your new bloods into a system, the system will be effective. And besides that, you'll be able to move forward. And apart from that, they are very current, they know what is ongoing, which will allow them to come into this system. No, they need to be guided, but by the time we inject, gradually, we do it in the form of gradual handing over. Gradually, you bring them in, teach them, guide them, and you withdraw.
The current stage of growing economy in diverse way is for the youth to be creative, which is another alternative for them to grow.
Development in Nigeria is going at a retrogressive direction. We are not progressing. So we are not progressing, and if that is the case, youth supposed to be, by the time you look at the population of youth in Nigeria, they are more than the older generation. So they must take into cognizance that for Nigeria to develop, you must have what is known as tolerance. You must also have human capacity development.
They added that special attention should be paid to develop and disseminate approaches that promote flexibility in training system, especially for youth development in politics and other sectors of the nation's economy. Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has said that it responded to 53 road crashes in December 2020. The agency, in collaboration with stakeholders, responded to the emergencies across the zonal territorial and offices covering 84 routes. The Director General, NEMA, retired Air Vice Marshal Muhammadu Mohammed, in his keynote address at the review of 2020 Operation Eagle Eye with the theme "Towards an Emergency-Free Yuletide" in Abuja, hinted that the operation is a global initiative and a flagship product of the agency targeted at enlightening road users on the rules and regulations guiding road usage. He added that the desire to prevent road crashes and ensure prompt intervention on the highways led to the flag off in the FCT and other states of the Federation. Simultaneously, in December 2020, he stated that unfortunately, the poor state of the roads and infrastructure, high traffic and wrong usage have led to increased road crashes with consequent fatalities and injury. Similarly, the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Dr. Boboye Oyeyemi, said about 180 fatalities were recorded in Operation Eagle Eye between December 15, 2020 and January 15, 2021, which caused the death of about 500 passengers nationwide. The Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service has said that 70 shops were severely damaged in a fire outbreak at Alade Market Street, Shomolu, Lagos. The service, however, managed to salvage 101 shops from being damaged by the fire that broke out around past 12 midnight on Tuesday. Briefing newsmen, the acting head of the service, Mrs. Margaret Adisheye, said the fire was put out by firefighters from the Ilupeju and Bolade fire stations, who were swiftly alerted to visit the location. She said the average land area of 1,944 square meters, accommodating 171 shops of varying sizes, already had 70 of the shops engulfed by fire by the time intervention arrived. The affected shops, which had various items including food, gas cylinders, and other perishable goods, were severely damaged by the inferno, she stated. Adesheye said the cause of the fire is still being investigated, but pointed out that its spread may have been aided by gas cylinders inside a gas shop at the market. She commended the efforts of the Federal Fire Service, Lagos State Emergency Management Authority, and the Nigerian Police Force in putting out the fire. The trial of the leader of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, IMN, Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, and his wife Zinat has been adjourned to March 8 and 9, 2021 for further hearing. The presiding judge, Justice Gideon Kurada, adjourned the case during Tuesday's sitting after the prosecuting counsel, Chris Umar, presented two witnesses before the court. However, only one of the witnesses testified before the court, while the other one is expected to be taken in the next adjourned date. The adjournment of the trial comes barely 24 hours after the judge ordered the Nigerian Correctional Service to immediately evacuate the wife of Sheikh El-Zakzaky, Zinat, to an isolation center where she will be treated for COVID-19 infection, which she contracted in detention. El-Zakzaky and his wife are standing trial on an 8-count charge bordering on alleged culpable homicide, unlawful assembly, and disruption of the public peace, among others. The couple have been in detention since their arrest in December 2015, following a bloody clash between the Shiites and soldiers in Zaria, Kaduna State. Meanwhile, at least one person was feared dead and many others injured on Tuesday during a clash between the police and members of the Islamic movement of Nigeria, popularly known as Shiites. The incident was said to have taken place at the Maitama area of the Federal Capital Territory near the National Human Rights Commission during the protest. The police were said to have fired shots and tear gas canisters to disperse the Shiites, and in the process, one of them was hit by a bullet. Smokes of the canisters billowed the air, while the sounds of gunshots rented the air. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Mohammed Adamu, has urged doctors to treat victims of gunshot wounds first before asking for any police report. Mr. Adamu stated this while answering questions from journalists in Abuja, shedding light on the police policy on people with gunshot wounds. The police chief said, "No, we don't do that. Save life first, even if it is an individual, suspected robber or kidnapper or bandit." The Nigeria Police Force have in recent times warned hospitals and doctors to desist from rejecting gunshot victims, saying such an act constitutes a flagrant violation of existing law. According to the force, doctors who reject these victims are criminally liable on account of the provision of the Compulsory Treatment and Care of Victims of Gunshot Act 2017. In 2017, the Senate passed a bill seeking to establish a law that ensures that victims of gunshot wounds receive the necessary treatment. The Compulsory Treatment and Care of Victims of Gunshot Bill, when signed into law, will prevent medical workers from denying care to gunshot victims. According to the Senate President at that time, Dr. Bukola Saraki, the bill will help put a legal framework in place to prevent unnecessary loss of lives, especially as not every gunshot victim is a criminal. The Nigerian Air Force on Tuesday winged 7 fighter pilots with a charge on them to be strong, bold, and disciplined to tackle the myriads of security challenges bedeviling the nation. The young pilots have also been told to be combat ready to deal with terrorists, kidnappers, bandits, and other criminals disturbing the peace of the country with their nefarious activities, as they will be called upon at very short notice. The outgoing Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, gave the charge while decorating the officers with their new wings. Air Marshal Abubakar, while noting that the Nigerian Air Force would continue to train personnel for combat readiness in the face of current security challenges, said he was confident that with continued commitment and sustained effort, the force shall overcome every threat to the peace and security of our dear country, Nigeria. While congratulating the pilots, the NAF chief reminded them that their winging was coming with a burden of responsibility, as much will be expected of them. He said since his assumption of office in 2015, the Nigerian Air Force has winged 124 pilots, comprising 76 pilots who completed their training in foreign institutions and 48 in local institutions. On the business news segment, CBN retains monetary policy rate at 11.5%. Join us for details after the break.